what it do? Guess who's back again with another video? Me. And this time I'm going to be doing like a mini get ready with me. So I'm going to be putting makeup on this gorgeousness here, and I want to take you guys for the ride, okay? So I'll be going out a little bit later, and I just wanted to show you guys how I do my everyday makeup look. It's not overboard, it's not flamboyant, it's just enough makeup to make you look like, oh, there's actually something on your face, but at the same time it's not overpowering. It doesn't look like boom, a glam, and it's not soft glam, okay? Because soft glam, there's still a little bit of overboardness to it, but it's not that kind. It's just something light, okay? Give me something light. Hey, I give you something light. Okay guys, so let's get into it. First thing I would be doing would be to use my brow tamer, and this one is by ADS, and honestly this is actually my favorite way to draw brows, okay? I know a lot of people prefer pencils and gels or powders, and honestly I can do all, but this is literally my favorite one, and I want to show you how I do it. I would be doing an in-depth brow tutorial showing you all 4 methods on how I draw my brows, so stick with me and you'll see them. This is the way for today, okay? So let's get into it. So I first of all start off with combing my brows upwards, okay, in this direction. And guys, this is such an ingenious way to draw your brows because it fills it in really lightly, but without that look of it being overdrawn. So yeah, you have brows that look lightly filled but not overdrawn, and if you feel like you want to add more, you can take up more and just add. Take some more and do the second. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. And in case you don't know, my face has been prepped and primed. This is just really a follow-through video, just to show you how I get things done. It's not an in-depth one. I will do an in-depth one for you guys, and that is a promise. So just hold on, I'm coming, okay? I really love this shade. Because the funny thing is, then I used to draw my brows with pencils here, and I found out that even after drawing with pencils, I used to go over it with my brow tamer, and this one is a tinted one. But the idea struck me like, okay, so if I'm doing that, why don't I just go in with this from the get-go? If the idea is to make your brows as natural looking as possible, why don't I just do this from the beginning and see how that goes? So we'll be moving on to concealer, and so we would conceal brows now, and then you can see how it looks afterwards, okay? So I'm using my concealer palette by Minister, and honestly, like, I've always been skeptical about getting palettes, like powder palettes, concealer palettes in general, other than eyeshadow, because I don't know why, I just felt like they were really low quality. But that's not the case with this one. In fact, the lady I bought this from, shout out to Brows Brown Beauty, she asked I get this, and she was like, you need to get this, it's so creamy. And I was like, okay, at your word, I will. And I did, and honestly I really enjoyed it. At first I didn't really know how to work with the shades, but trust your girl now, she got that, and in time I actually found a way to make it. We'll be going into this shade right here. We'll be going into this shade right here, and taking my brush Now guys, I actually have 2 concealer shades for highlighting my brows, but whenever I want it to be really natural, that's the shade I go in with. So okay guys, as you can see, brows are done, and so the next phase we move on to now is foundation. And guys, I must say, when I got this foundation, honestly, I never thought that it would be as good as it is. Like guys, I have received compliments and people just like, I like your skin. And half the time people don't even realize that good skin work, honestly, other than skill, is product. And this product is far too amazing for the price that I bought it. This is Glam Beauty. Can you see that? By Wilson. And I actually went to their Instagram page, just a startup, but they are really nice. I got this for 1,400 naira. And guys, when I say this is the bomb, I mean it. Okay, so with my foundation brush here, you know, flat top, I'm going to take some of that foundation and apply it all over my face. Okay, so here we go. So guys, one thing I do is when I apply foundation, I try not to apply fresh foundation to my forehead. I apply everywhere, and then whatever is left on the brush, I apply to my forehead. I realize that my forehead really doesn't need as much product as the rest of my face. Okay, so I super love the coverage of this foundation, the formula, everything, just how it sits. And it's one of those foundations that doesn't feel like there's anything really on your face. Honestly, like, it doesn't feel like there's anything on your face, and it doesn't become greasy as time goes on. I'm not really a believer in primers, and that's because I believe, like, if you do skin work properly, like take care of your skin and all, drink your water or whatever, you won't necessarily need a primer. Now, doesn't mean that there are not special cases where I would ultimately say, you know what, go for it, use a primer. But I have come to trust the wear of this foundation. I'm recommending it to you guys. Honestly, you will love it. As you can see by my face, the foundation has completely blended out the ashiness that was on my forehead from the concealer, and that's why I love it so much. Now we move on to contour, and honestly, this is one of my favorite parts of makeup. Okay guys, so going back into that my Minister palette, I would be using 2 shades. Remember earlier I told you guys that there are 2 shades that I love to use for my brow highlighting, depending on my mood. For highlighting my face, highlight and contour, I have always done these 2 things. So what I do is I get a really light shade of concealer and I apply it just under my eye, here and here, and I use the shade that I used earlier. I use that shade as a supplementary color, so I realized that the blend into each other works. No, let me just stop rambling and just let you guys see what I'm saying. Okay, so this was that first shade I used right here, and I'm going to be using the shade directly beneath it, this one. Don't look at what you see in the camera, it's actually not as light as you think. Okay, so let's get into it. And honestly, this has a way in which it balances out the foundation, so I'm just going to apply that. Alright, so that's what we have right there. So I'm going to go back in with that eyebrow highlight shade and apply just beneath it. Okay, so watch what's going to happen. Can you see that, guys? Can you see that? See that amazing transition already, and it has not even been blended in yet. Okay, so with that same shade, the second one I just applied, I'm going to use that and highlight my nose and do a reverse contour with it. Okay, so one of the things I do is I rarely, very rarely do I do a full-on contour like with a darker shade. No, I always do a reverse contour because I realize that it has a more natural flow to it than having to put something there. So okay guys, can you see that? All right, cool. So I know this would come as a shock to a lot of you, but I actually, yeah, I have beauty blenders, but I prefer, and I've noticed that I've loved doing it. Okay, I blend out with my foundation brush. Yes, with my foundation brush, and you will see why. And okay, you don't even need to see why because it's actually a no-brainer. There's a reason. Personally, it's more convenient for me to use a brush to blend than a sponge, and I don't know why, but for some reason sponges and me. So that's what we're gonna do. So and I blend upwards into my eye. I'm doing this so that you guys can really see what exactly it is that I am doing. Can you see that? Can you see that? Okay, see this side, see this side. Guys, can you see that? Can you see that? Alright, cool. So now we move on into setting. And guys, I've realized that I'd rather set first with a powder before a translucent powder. And I don't even know where I learned this hack from, but that's what I do and I really love how it turns out. So I'll go into my color. Can you see that? Can you see that? Can you see that? I'll go into my color powder palette, and I'll be using this shade right here. I'll be using this shade right here to set this. So that's with a beauty sponge. Tap the back of my hand like this and then apply. Okay guys, so this is it. I'm setting with that powder, so now I'll go in with my banana powder and I will set again with that powder. Okay, so just take a little bit to the cup. As always, dust at the back of your hand. I don't know, but I noticed that this helps to keep out blotchiness. Okay, so we're good. Okay guys, so we're ready to go into eyeshadow, and because we're doing a simple glam look, I'm going to take my brush and powder from here and just slightly go over that. We don't want to have that look like we're wearing eyeshadow, but we want it to look like we're wearing eyeshadow. Okay, so we have our nose contoured and our face now. This is all we are doing for this eyeshadow look and nothing more. That's all, that's about it. So we are going to take, yes again, our flat brush and touch our face. Okay, can you see that? Can you see that? Can you see that? Okay, now we have a fully beat face. and it looks as natural as possible. Ooh, we still have a little boo-boo there. Alright, cool. Now we're going to go into mascara, and this is like a random mascara that I took off my friend, and honestly I like it because it really works well. So we're going to use it and plop our lashes because we're not going to be wearing any, so we need to look like we're not sick in the eyes. Okay, can you see that? See the other side. See? I actually don't really have a lot of lashes, so bear with me. So we're done with that. We're going to very lightly highlight with the highlighter shade in the palette right here. I'm going to be using this brush by Urban Decay. See that? See that? So we have everything looking really nude and matte and whatnot, but this is legit my favorite part of this makeup, and that's when I get to use lipstick. And because I'm keeping everything really subtle, you can go and use a gloss or some nude shade or not, but I honestly want a pop of color, so I'll be taking this lip by Huda Beauty and using it on my lips. Okay guys, so I've done putting the lip color, and yes, I overline my lips because I like it. So this is the finished look. Of course I'm still going to plop my edges, you know, and just try and make everything look all cute. So I'll be back with the finished look, setting spray and a little bit, and change my clothes and come back looking cute. And we're done. So guys, this is the finished look. I hope you like it. I'm not really an earring person, so I just hope you guys like it. This is my way of drawing brows, as you can see, without necessarily using a pencil, just using a brow tamer. So it's something that's completely doable, totally doable. This is a simple everyday look makeup thingy, you know, subtle highlights, your contour is there and everything. I just used this lip color because of course I wanted a pop of color. I didn't want the norm. I didn't want what was, I wasn't really doing an everyday makeup kind of look, and I probably would do one down from beginning to the end, but this is me going out and this is how I look. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, because I enjoy talking and sharing my tips with you guys. As for that clanging, guys, I will do better, I promise. So stick around for my next video. I will make sure to get one to you guys ASAP. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Take care. Bye. I don't know why I keep looking at myself, as in it looks so good on camera, and I just keep, I don't know, my eyes keep shifting and I'm like, okay girl, okay, yeah. So